Okay, meeting's come to order, airport board meeting for 4:30, just to hear it over. Roger Brooks is going to do our invocation for us, and Vicki Harbour will lead us in both the pledges.
I want to thank the Lord for being here today. Bless our families, watch over us. Bless that this meeting goes smoothly and the way you want it to go, Lord. Bless the ones that are on their way and who are unable to make it. And possibly quite even.
Amen.
Face the American flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United
States of America,
to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Face the Texas flag. Honor the
Texas flag.
I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
I don't believe we have any public comments. Do we? No public comments. 4 is approve the minutes from January 11th, 2024 for the airport board meeting. You all had a chance to look at those, did you? I have a motion to approve the minutes for the airport board meeting from January 11th. Motion from Bob Bartlett. Do I have a second? Second from Justin Newell. All in favor of approving the board meeting minutes from January 11th? Passes unanimously. Number 5 is discussion of possible action on the following. Also, by the way, we have Leo's out, of course, I know. Greg had a death in the family, so he is unable to attend. And our city council member will be here in about 15 minutes. He was running just a little bit late. Update on airport inspection projects, number 5. Roger Brooks. It's been so wet, I don't think realistically we've been able to get anything done.
True.
I think we have half the runway left, one side of it.
The east side.
East side.
East side of it. The inside, yes.
Wind socks are up in the one sock is up in
So
the
we can get another one for the north side.
north side. Any questions on any of that? Any questions, brother? No questions?
I had a question on the, there was some discussion about the trees on that west side. Have they all been moved back to where when they do a light check, that's all from?
Yeah, they've already been checked.
That's been,
It's got to be 250 feet from center line. It's already been totally cleared. And then we turned around and cleared it even more because now they are, as soon as it dries up enough, they're going to put a chain link fence all the way on that side. And that's already been approved and the bid's been awarded and all they're waiting on now is, I think, ground.
Yeah, we went out here and we ran the string line and everything, but it's just too wet for their truck to drive over to it. And then, so now we've got the rain coming in Saturday too, which is going to prolong just a little bit. And then they've got one other job that they're going to squeeze in while our side is wet. And they are projected to start on February 14th, or between 14th and 19th. Is they're hoping to get a good start.
Any other questions on that? Opens Meeting Act. Vicki, I think, sent that to all of us. I've done it, of course, myself several times. I don't know if y'all had a chance to look at it or go over it. Has anybody had a chance to do that?
I know the link that I emailed out, if you click that link and you scroll all the way down to the bottom, it's a 1-hour video, and then when you get to the end of it, it goes over everything that's in this summary that I sent also. It's got a certificate that you can print out, and then you can give that to us, and we can put it in the airport board, the file in the city secretary's office also.
And that was brought up with Greg over, just want to be more familiar with ins and outs on the public meeting. City's aviation ordinance, Dickie was kind of run over that with us, or we can table it until we have a full board. Kind of whatever y'all want to do. We're missing 3 people currently. But that's up to y'all, whatever y'all want to do. If you want to go over it, we can. If you want to table it until hopefully we have a full meeting next time. Any ideas? What you think?
I'll say, wait for that,
We have a motion to table it till the next meeting. By Hugh, do I have a second? Leslie, do you second? All in favor of tabling that until next meeting? Airport Facebook page.
So I put it in front of everybody, I think I put it in the package also, but it's the form, faith fill this, where all you gotta do is just scan it with your phone and it'll take you directly to, the Facebook page that the city is doing for the airport. And from there you can click like, follow, don't like, whatever, that you want. And then what we're trying to do is we're just getting started on it, but we're trying to do updates as things happen, post pictures as they currently happen. When I put the red night that came in the other day, and just good stuff like that as it happens. The Girl Scouts that came out from Tarkington, we got Civil Air Patrol coming out Saturday to do some flights. We're hoping to get pictures of that as well and put on there. And then if you have any kind of recommendations or anything on it, you can let us know and we'll publish it there as well.
Has everybody looked at the Facebook page? Had a chance to yet? We have a new one. If y'all want to scan that, they are actually utilizing it quite often now. One of the employees out there is pretty familiar with all of that, and she updates it, I think, almost every few days.
Every few days she's been trying to update it and keep it updated.
And any ideas on that? Something y'all think going on there, or
There's some more too.
think it's,
We've got some airfield information on it. We're hoping to get a lot more incorporated on it as well. And like I said, if you look at it and you're like, well, let's add this, just let us know and we'll go in there and we'll add it to it.
you remember the exact title on it?
Cleveland Municipal Airport. So there was a couple of them that were titled that, but if you click that link, it'll take you to the right one. And then when you hit follow, that's when it'll always come up.
But like it, share it. I know she's trying to keep it updated quite a bit out there. She's really wanting to change the profile picture, I believe, to Dickie's pretty face. And for some reason, Dickie is not cooperating with her, at least what I've heard. That's what the rumor is. Airport permit review. Anything else on the Facebook page before we get? Airport permit review. This one we can go over when we have more people here, but I'd like to at least have Dickie give us a rundown on it. This is in regards to the ag tractors out there utilizing those runways, not communicating, and so on. And Dickie can run over, if you don't mind, go over that permit with us, because that's what we're looking at doing, is redoing the permit, essentially, just basically redoing the permit with instructions and everything.
I emailed a copy of that to everybody. This is the current permit that we use for the city for agricultural purposes. There is a section in there that it's even highlighted that they must agree to. It says the operator agrees to follow standards ground and air traffic procedures in effect at the Cleveland Municipal Airport. Now, when they're doing that, when they're, going against it or landing, the way they are, it's just because, I guess there was nobody there that was telling them to stop. But the procedures in place, and I said that to you, we can review, we can add to it or take away from it, but it's just, we just got to enforce what we have. That's all, that's what it is. There is a recommendation that we can take up. The price is $60 for the permit. It was brought to my attention that we should raise that. I agree with that. I would hope that when y'all review it, y'all can make a recommendation on, the kind of price that we should set it at. I think $600. And then we can forward that to council
That guy's gonna operate off a very slim margin.
okay. It's a start.
Yeah. You put jet fuel in, don't buy gas.
Mhm.
Wait and see. Because they trailer in tens of thousands of gallons of gas. The air tractor burns almost 200 gallons an hour.
That'd be nice.
Now, do they get fuel for cost when they bring their own fuel, or do you?
I don't know what they pay for it. I mean, yeah, I'm sure they get it at a wholesale discount. But yeah, I mean, that's what I would put in there is have them actually buy gas from me.
In order to execute a cheap permit or a lower price permit.
What'd you say, Rod? Also,
The one thing about that fueling is they're all set up to do that all at that one location out of the way.
we would have a truck.
Probably don't want them pulling that ag line up on the ramp and fueling their, I can see that being.
Well, they bring their own fuel truck, but you can basically say, look, in bulk, we'll order the fuel for you and have it delivered to your truck. Or something. That cost. That way it's not being metered through your system. Just my idea. They burn a lot of gas. A lot of gas.
They don't even shut down, they just,
And
the guys just in that thing all day
We're
long.
running the entire day.
sun up, sun down, a lot of you even have guys spray at night. Spray at night.
But then if we also are gonna make them utilize the correct runways and stuff, they may not want to be there anyway.
It all depends on where they're operating at. I mean, they're like gypsies. They're all over the place. Because of where the bulk of their drop.
But I did agree that the $60 does sound extremely low for that permit. $600 was maybe extremely high, but maybe somewhere, in the middle would be great. So,
What's the city's thought on that permit fee?
We probably need to look at whether airports are charging for that.
I think we said Winnie does a lot.
Yeah, but I mean, the operators are out of lane. I mean,
Okay.
they haven't analyzed.
But you could call any local airport.
Yeah.
I'll do that.
That's typically when we do comparisons and do fees, we look at what other cities are charging for comparable things. Especially in the area, you kind of see, make sure we're kind of in the market. We don't want to be too high or too low, we would be effective. That's something that they can definitely work on.
Any ideas on permits? Anything else?
Or anything to add or take
Yeah.
away.
I know that we discussed basically a set of rules. I think the big issue more than anything is our training traffic in conjunction with ag trappers out there. Can get it to be a complete cluster.
emphasis on that, the ag operator, given, we should make them aware that training is increased so much, and they have to comply with the local pattern procedures. I get why they want to come in, plan.
Oh, 100%.
Wow, I mean, that's worked at the airport for decades.
Well, it's the amount of money they save, right, like fuel, I suppose, it's all the tires, fuel, time, everything.
And there's probably times that they can still do that if there's no traffic there, if there's conflicting traffic, they just have to.
Utilize the traffic.
Maybe it's just an awareness thing.
And I think most of them do. I mean, I've seen most of them operate with the flow. I mean, they don't, and they're not get mad about it. They know. But, when they can emphasize the savings of just seconds, they're going to save.
Well, now that we've opened up communication with the schools and the train traffic, if we get a permit pool and we know they're gonna be there, maybe just a good practice to notify them, letting them know that we can have a permit pool on these days, we're gonna have the ag traffic here, so just beware, that they're gonna be in the mix.
Well, we need to know them that out, every time, anytime they're there, we need to make sure we know them that out. In my opinion, we need to know them out.
And that way anybody that's coming from anywhere, they'll see that, and know it when they pull up, and then, they'll be on the lookout for that as well. So I need to make that box on here for people.
Any other ideas, anything else on the airport permit review? No? You good, Justin? Good. Mr. Lowry has trying to come up with ideas for grass runways, so I'm gonna let him talk about that.
My business is basically in sand, and we sell frac sand to oil fields and so forth, to people that are drilling wells. So I called a couple of the oil pipeline people and asked them about using pipelines, if there's a way that we can do that. And of the few that I did talk to, some were for it, some were against it. So what we have to do is find out who runs that particular pipeline there at the end of the runway, and see if we could probably make that a grass field. We may have to expand it. I don't know if you had a chance to measure it. With the rain, it'll get up there either. I know exactly what it means to get stuck. So we do think it would be a good idea. It would be very little maintenance to it except for mowing it. We're not sure about the width of it. We'll have to work on that. Me and Dickie needs to work on that some more. But it was just an idea, so I didn't know if that would be something good to discuss or whether y'all thought it would be a good idea or not.
I love grass.
He's a tail dragger.
I go to Anahuac 2-3 times a week to teach on grass.
You want to be
But, we've talked about it for 10, 15 years out there of doing it. It's a quagmire. Which is so soft. I mean, to build it up, you briefly discussed it earlier. It take a pretty big, large amount of money to do it right. Because if you're talking about air trackers to operate on one, and those things weigh 17,500 pounds. That takes a lot of weight on the grass. Is our area built for it? Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know the soil compaction there, exactly what's there. We're working in a sand pit, we'd be glad to sell you some rock.
Ernest right here, he built it. He's built a 3,000-foot grass strip on his own place.
Yeah. Ernest is on the hill, though, I think. Compared to parking.
So he can tell you everything about building the runway.
Yeah, higher ground is always important.
Yeah.
I'm not sure even how we would work as far as the water ditches. I know that there's a ditch at the very end, but how far can we actually channel that water? I don't know. And like I said, it was just an idea. I can think about it. And probably might play with it a little bit longer as far as checking out the pipeline, checking out the soil, the width of the actual runway, and we'll, you can find out about the water.
So you're saying pipeline, are you talking about the east side?
It's actually on the east side, and it runs right to the very tip of the runway, and it
The
runs
actual process
northeast.
is, I think what he's referring to is the east side. So it would run, the tip of it is towards 787, and then the bottom of it would be towards 34. So it's that angle across there. Back to the picture.
It's already a pipeline, and they're having to mow it, and I'm not sure the condition of it.
Is that right? So basically build a whole separate runway, running it different, magnetic.
Yes,
Entirely.
yes.
Because we discussed in the past of utilizing, one side of the runway,
Well, he actually brought that up a while back also.
which is kind of how Anahuac is unmarked. They utilize the right-hand side or the south side of that runway.
Right, as far as extending the apron there, that side where the planes are actually parked, we can do that in direction parallel to the runway or taxi. And, but I don't know how much room we have. Still don't know what's required for that. So we may have to move some trees, and that would give us a chance to actually build up the property if we decided to use it for other means.
I think what his idea is basically is to give us another runway. Are you looking at it, Hugh, on the top? You see it on the east side?
No, just right here, right?
Yes.
You can see the pipeline there, how it runs.
Runs right behind the hangars there.
Yeah, that's behind the hangars. It runs behind the hangars that are on the east, it's on the east side behind the new hangars.
It's the diagonal.
Yes, the diagonal, on the east side behind the new hangars.
Again, we'll have to start off by checking with the pipeline and seeing if there would be in agreement. I don't know the depth of the pipe, how big it is.
That's interesting.
I think it would get utilized.
Oh, it would.
Probably wouldn't bother you.
And then the trees right there.
So is this something we want to continue with and look at?
If y'all don't mind, I'll go ahead and keep digging and trying to find out some more information and bring it back to the board.
Everybody good with
What
that?
is like access, what is this, can it cuts across it there? Then, you see that, here's 164, and this is what you're talking about here, but is this like an access road or some kind of?
If I'm not mistaken, that's back there by Central Sands. That's an old, yeah.
It connects to the other old, other pipeline, right? Runs from John's spot.
I don't know if it's be able to get grants or anything else for that either. Text or somebody else.
Is this what he's looking at? Over there? So that's big. Coming down this way. Yeah, it's the same. So this is what he's referring to, behind the new hangar.
That would be awful long, but it could be possible to use that all the way up to the back of the house. Depending on soil samples that we find, condition on the pipeline.
Idea.
That'll work. We want to keep that on the agenda and let Eddie make it happen. No pressure.
No pressure.
No pressure at all.
I'll talk to you.
Kind of like the water boy, you can do it. Okay, number 12, old business. Justin,
Did we skip Tim?
Yeah.
That was really, there wasn't really anything, the only thing new on that, on observation area is EEC is looking at the pavilion, on funding it. We have to get some numbers back to them by our next EDC meeting. But other than that, I mean, that's already, basically for us, it's already been voted on, went through our board and been approved. It's just, the only reason it's on there is just for an update for the EDC to see where we're at. Any questions on that? 12 is, we do obviously 12 and 13 on old business, new business. Dustin invited Mr. Bells. He's got some more information on our training problem that we've been having. And I know that Vicki has talked to training schools. I've talked to a few of the training schools also. I think we talked to 5 combined, I think, with all of them. And they have been very, very appreciative that we call them, and so far very accommodating on what they're saying they're going to do. We can go through each one of them if you want to, but I think all of them are basically saying we will see a reduction in traffic.
I had on that topic of, traffic pattern, I put together a little basic, maybe a mitigation thing, that's just an idea we can all talk about, we can just pass it around. Something that would maybe put, and some bumpers around, what we're talking about. Very basic, very simple, but possibly simple solution or help in that area, community planning patterns at one time.
I guess it's encourage good communication with all funds and the key for the same trial. Full pattern communication has to be managed.
But you're still going to have, at an uncontrolled airport, you're going to have one guy out there with a no-radio airplane. Yeah, and sometimes I've encountered that myself with someone out there without a radio. Surprised me in the pattern.
So it's kind of funny that you brought this up on the 4 to 6, and the reason being is actually ATP has a rule across the entire United States that they have a limit of 5. When there's 5 planes in the pattern, they have to go somewhere else. Not their planes, just 5 planes in any pattern. And when I spoke to them, they said that they were going to look at maybe changing that for 6-3 to 4. And they are currently sending, ATP from Conroe, they're currently sending all their solos to Cleveland. And he made mention that he would actually take his solos. He had to finish up the ones that he already had scheduled. But then after that, he said he would take all the solos away from Cleveland and divide them up between other airports, Huntsville, Liberty, Liberty, and that would, he felt like just the solos alone would make a significant difference in the traffic. But the traffic on the planes in the pattern was specifically the first thing he talked about. See if he could switch that at 6-3 to 4 instead of 5.
Well, this,
That's what I did.
was just a way of, you can't really segregate by flight school or, itinerary versus, or Justin's operation in, say, ATP. It's a public use airport. So this kind of takes the, goes back to there, it's the first come, first served airport, which is how air traffic is operated. And if it gets to the, whatever that threshold number is, everybody just makes either a full stop or they touch and go and can leave. And then that will self-manage, the pattern shouldn't get so extended. That, as a controller, that's what we used to do when we had a touch and go pattern. If it got too extended, all right, everybody's gonna make a full stop or they gotta leave the pattern. Let us get it back, pull back in, and then we can, go again. But, most operators, like you just alluded to it, are willing to work with, everybody, because safety is all the main thing, right? So if we can, it was just an idea of something very basic, but that's all it needs. It's just to have some kind of an awareness that, okay, we want to keep it 5 or 6 airplanes in the pattern max, and if there's 5, person will want to make a full stop, or they get a next post and leave, and come back, park the area.
I know that, at least in my opinion, I think since Chenault moved, and they definitely agree with that, and so do ATV, since Chenault moved, our traffic has increased, and not increased, it's actually increased. And I think anybody would probably agree with that. But Chenault, after Vicki talked to them, Chenault said that they would split it up, because for them, there's not a lot of difference now where they're located to go to Liberty versus Cleveland. And they would start realizing they would be a little bit more. So basically what they said there. But we did see a significant increase, I think, after they moved. I think Mr. Bales, I think, is going to talk to us on this too. Is that correct?
Appreciate the opportunity to come. So, Meg Ernestville is the state rep, also the chairman of the Texas Aviation Caucus. I'm actually the intermediary between the Texas legislature and the Texas Aviation side. So, Dustin had reached out. It's been an issue that I've actually has.
Ernest, we take that mic and put it straight up in the air. Keep going. There you go.
You want to use it or not?
Yeah. You're still using it. Right there. You'll got it. You won't have that big a bump now.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
No, I mean, that's been an ongoing issue there. I mean, it's a safety issue. So I kind of made a few phone calls. There's Shelley Nezavalos. She is the chairman of the Texas Aviation Advisory Board. She's actually a person that I work with throughout the session on any of the legislation that we do. She's actually asked, I'm actually one of the panel speakers at the Texas Aviation annual meeting, and pattern and how we actually handle local municipal airports is always an issue. And some of the things that she brought up, she's actually the manager of a privately owned public use, which is very different than what Cleveland is. However, she still kind of went through what some of the options are. And even though it is a municipal airport, there's still a liability aspect that the city of Cleveland is still liable if we don't do anything to mitigate the traffic, keep it safe. She mentioned a couple different things. I mean, the majority of it kind of goes back. The airport manager has the ball in his court to be able to dictate a lot of the parameters. The same thing that you guys have mentioned as far as speaking with actual schools. You can actually limit the number of traffic pattern. You can limit the times for educational use. You can also limit that. There is a precedence actually set where you can restrict that based on flight schools which are based out of the airport. So that actually has been done in other places and could be done here. If we have schools that are operated out of 6 Romeo 3, they would actually take precedence over those that operate elsewhere. The schools that operate right there in Conroe, they can land in Conroe if they want to, but they don't want to because it's a lot easier to come here, and Cleveland takes the brunt of that. So those are just a couple things that got brought up. I mean, you try to do everything from a manager standpoint as far as you can limit the number of planes that are in traffic pattern. Air tractors and stuff, it's a totally different ball game as far as when you fly in on the instrument approach. I know there have been jets that have came in that it has been a very dangerous situation because you have schools and you have students that don't pay any attention, expect that jet to come down to 1200 in a traffic pattern, and that's not how the process really works. So with that, and then also they said if it is an issue and can't be remedied that way, you could actually look at and you have the option to close it to outside traffic or close it to training operations during set hours. That is actually an option which can be utilized. So she's a good resource, and like I said, the issue just got brought up. Appreciate the opportunity to come here. I have my hanger out there as well. I mean, I use this from a business standpoint, day in, day out, so it's important to me, and that's why I've been able to serve in that capacity there. So if there's anything that I can help you guys, be glad to do that. Also, like Dan Harmon, who's Executive Director of TxDOT Aviation, worked with Dan directly, so was able to work with him a lot on the construction projects to kind of get that expedited as good as we could. Hawthorne Field, we mentioned the grass field earlier. They actually had to go through and do the full drainage and hydrology studies, and that had to be remedied before they could actually do the repairs to the active strip. So we just have to be mindful as we put in grass strips, if we look at the possibility of utilizing funding, they are going to require that all be done. The hydrology, the drainage, as well as compaction tests and everything else. So that's where you can spend a lot of money. And just make sure if that's something we want to do, that we're willing to spend 2 to 3 times as much as it would take to actually build it, to get it to specs if we're going to also receive state and federal funds. So, anything I can do to help, let me know. Like I said, I try to stay out of the way, but you guys know how to get a hold of me. And if I need to help expedite the process of working with TxDOT Aviation or even the FAA side, I have the cell number of the FISDO guys there as well, so we have those relationships and able to help in that capacity. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Do we have any questions for Mr. Belcher? And I believe that the lady talking about Shelley is actually in the process of getting with Tom with AOPA and a couple other people and coming up with some ideas to get back to us. If this doesn't get remedied by means that we're trying to do so. I think from the city's standpoint, basically, I believe is to communicate with all of them, try that first, correct?
Right, I mean, we kind of talked about that at the last meeting. Now, let's reach out to them, see if we can work with them. That's been done. They seem to be willing to work with it this time, so let's try that and see how that goes. One thing we don't want is we don't want to eliminate no traffic here either. I mean, we want to, we talked about exposure. And so, like you mentioned, if they're going to turn away like all solos for right now. So it's like, well, we got to be careful of that. We don't want to necessarily turn them all away because we want people to use our airport.
Right.
And so, I know this is a temporary thing. We can look at it, but I mean, we don't want it to be a situation where we have nobody coming here either. So I think it's a fine line, but I think we're doing the right thing. I think we're working with the schools to see how that works. We're working with the TxDOT at this point. We've got the contact, so we can continue to work with them to see how they go to proceed. And as this area grows and our airport gets more and more hangars and more growth, it maybe something we have to continue to monitor and watch for years. As we continue to do it and see what our options are. And see how that traffic is, and maybe we have to limit some stuff, varying times or whatever. But at this point, last month we got the direction to work with the schools. We contacted the schools. They are supposedly going to be working with us. So I think that's a good start to see how that works. And we need to keep watching it.
Yeah. Hopefully that the schools, hopefully communication with the schools will solve a lot of it. That's going to depend if the chiefs of the schools, there's white chiefs at these schools, and that I think is going to depend on if the white chiefs are communicating with their CFI. Communication, I think, is a key all the way around. And it is a safety issue, so we want to stay on and be mindful of it, on the importance of it being a safety issue for sure. Any other questions or anything on the training traffic topic? Is it good? Yeah, and I don't know if y'all heard me or not, but basically he said that he agrees that communication between the city and the airport board and the airport manager and the flight schools, just, if we can keep the communication going, and if we need to go to his opinion on the next route is limiting the planes that have, period. So Bob basically just told me that communication. Anything else on that? Update on fuel, that's old business, I had that on here, so update on avgas and jet fuel. We doubled our sales from January of last year to January of this year. Literally, actually, a little over double. Obviously, we had to go up a little bit on prices recently because fuel costs went up. Where we at on jet fuel? And anything else on that, Gusty?
So, I guess, I got with Trent, we got, a price adjusted, about 30 minutes prior to me coming up here. I changed the fuel price, so it is now currently $4.40 per gallon. Since Avgas made their adjustment and we got our new price, so we're good on that. So that's where I guess it stands at. We're going through it pretty quick, so this next order, probably next week, again, already I'm going to order just a full bag, so it'll be the full 8,000 gallons from here on out, ordering and selling. We're doing good. The Jet A we're still just out for the filters. I talked with Eagle Pump, so once they come in, they're coming out. Reached out to a couple of electricians. I'm just waiting for them to call me back. I'm going to try to call them again in the morning. I couldn't for the last couple of weeks. I've been in FEMA training, so it's hard to get a hold of anybody. So once I get them, the process will be, Avgas will get the filters, they'll come in, install it, the new pipes. The electrician will come out, plug in the shut-off valve, hook it back up to the pole, run it over the QT pod. Then I'll order Avgas, they'll come fill up the tank, 4,000 gallons. Eagle Pump leader will come out, test everything, pump some gallons through it. As soon as they say, okay, we're live, we're selling.
I know you're saying that because you mean jet fuel.
Yes.
So time, I know it's still guessing.
We thought we would already be there by now, but the parts are still slow.
So 2 weeks.
Hopefully, yes.
One thing, Vicki, on that, when you get that, when you get the Jet AR online, probably make a point of contact the helicopter companies,
Yes.
Ned helicopters, that you see them flying past you all the time. So then if you get a logical first easy customer.
Yes. So I plan on reaching out to them. I've already got contact with the Army. I'm going to reach out to them. I've already started speaking with them. So I'm going to keep working with them as well. I want them over here as well. And there's a couple, I've had 2 phone calls today from corporate companies that are, one came in today, one's coming in tomorrow, and I think there's another one coming in next week. But they're wanting, something we don't have to do right now, but they want. So, we're a prime pick-up and drop-off location for these guys. And the other day with the T-33 that came in, they drank a lot of gas. Luckily, they could take 100 LL, but if we would have had a jet fuel, it would have been about $3,000 worth.
Might have to, I don't know, the parking area around there, there's some transit or some parking, we might have to kind of leave county park there to accommodate,
And I'm looking to go out there, I'm starting measuring in the back. The 4 spots that are closest to the terminal by me, those are going to become transient only spots. No, just overnight, that's it, you're gone the next day. The rentals will be in line down there and on the far end down there. And that way, that'll keep that area open right there where they can come swing in wide and good if there's nobody there. But, anybody that parks there should only be there for a couple hours max, and then gone, or if they come in the day, overnight, gone in the morning, hopefully.
Yeah, because with the Jet A, you're just gonna get different customers in there that's gonna be, you need more room.
Mhm.
You know, just gonna be a King Air, citations, and need just a little more.
And what I'm thinking about also is, I need to research and look at the price of the tow bar that we can have in the terminal for us, like the red jet that came in. You know, we had to push him over to the pump, fill him up, and we pushed him back out to the taxiway, just because the back blast is just strong. You know, it'll close himself over. So, but we pushed him out there and then let him start up and take off. But if we have a tow bar, we can hook it up to the gator, you know, and push him out there like that. Luckily, when he came in, everybody come out, you know, like, wow, you know, so we had plenty of people to push him around.
Well, I think the other thing that we talked about previous, a month or two ago, was more than likely, when we start getting all the jet fuel business, we're gonna have to have a truck. It's just kind of property in the system. Yeah, I don't think it'll be long after we get our jet fuel, but we'll probably end up having to truck.
And there's some trailer options too, I think. You don't just have to go full-size truck. You could have a trailer tank, let's say, you know, arrangement that you could go behind the gate or whatnot to service the stuff.
Also, I meant to mention LB just left, but LB came, he wanted to sit in an airport board meeting. He's one of our EDC directors. He's currently the vice chair of EDC. Of course, we have Councilman Terrell here, who's kind of our fixture for the airport board. We appreciate that very much. And of course, y'all met Mr. Bells, our state rep, who's running the force currently. And then, of course, we also have the one and only, the Citizen of the Year, Heidi Solis. She is also here, and she is currently the new Citizen of the Year. And she also sits on EDC. Well, she sits on several boards, but EDC. Anything else on jet fuel or road business? No? Good. What about new? Do we need anything else under new business?
I talked to Dickie earlier today, you need to really look at changing the CTAP frequency. And coming off 1230, I'll try to get a hold of our guys at work. Of course, they're still working a little bit remotely. And seeing who we can put Dickie in contact with, and let them do a spectrum analysis of what would be the better frequency to utilize. I know we're not going to want 1229, I'm not going to want 1228. And change that, because on these nice days, 5 or 6 in our pattern, 5 or 6 in Lucky's pattern, you know, on and on and on and on. You can't get it working. So here goes our safety communication down there.
And if you switch to 1229 right now, it's just as bad, it's just about pushing off.
So, I mean, I think that's another avenue for us to do, so we can at least communicate. It should not be overly difficult to do.
I'm pretty easy to say. You can give me that information, I'll call right up and we can get started with that.
I think are we on board with that? You good with that, you?
Absolutely. Yeah, because it's very congested.
Absolutely. Yeah, I actually was gonna bring it up under old business, but yeah, let's, you got a direction to go?
Yeah, I'll make a phone call either after this meeting or tomorrow and talk to the FAA guys that I know and see who we need to call. But I think we discussed this like 5 years ago, and I gave the information for you done, and it never materialized. But I think there might have been an issue with who actually gave the FCC the frequency, 30 years ago. We went through different channels on it now, so we might have to do some different channels, but we'll see.
Just to be clear, because this came up the other day in another conversation, but I want to make sure, is the board okay with Dustin working with Nikki to research this and get back to us? Everybody good with that? Okay. Okay. No.
Yeah, I'll get the right contact, give it to you.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go with us.
No, and then let's put that on the next agenda under CTAF, CTAF. And let's give it its own, everybody good with that?
Yeah.
CTAF frequency. Anything else under new ideas? I know some people are needing to leave us because, Ernest, do you need to leave? Are you going to the ribbon cutting? If I need to, it's 5 people. Okay, just let me know. And I know Councilman Darrell, Heidi, are you going? I'm not supposed to go too, so. Anything else under new ideas, new business one? Good on new business, event ideas, we're good on that for now, huh? I think we're working on it, kind of,
So, yeah.
EAA.
Yes, yeah, he has, yeah.
Quick, Dustin on the EAA.
They heard me the other day, they want the city involved too, the city wants to get involved, donate to it, we'll get me a flag, you know.
Yep, and I also think we might get some sponsors on, I can't remember who it was I talked to, was it you? Can't remember who that was, but we might be able to get some sponsors on some food, for that, to do a fly-in, that person with the EAA. I also spoke to the Lions Club, coincidentally Heidi's involved in that. She's a citizen of the year, she's involved in everything. So, but she is involved in that also, and they were more involved in the canal health with anything else?
I would like to apologize to everybody here for being late. I had an oxen ditch. It was the rain coming Saturday. I was working on the gully trying to get rip in it. So, took longer than I expected.
Yes, that's his, why he's out of his normal apparel.
Yeah.
Was there any, the cow situation, is that?
Okay, I'll give you an update on that.
Yeah, I haven't seen a single cow since.
So Chief Broussard did have a meeting with them, with Mr. Culpepper, owner of the cows. And whatever that meeting curtailed, we have not had any more problem with cows. And I think it was stressed to them very clearly that any other situations with cows on runways was going to result in criminal charges. So,
It might be over at Pat Floyd.
they're pretty busy these days. Good food too, in that area. Okay, anything else? Motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Any, Lowry makes a motion to adjourn, Dustin Mills seconds, all in favor, adjourn.